Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion, and I apologize if you were expecting bright and early in your inbox or in your feed an update from yesterday's game, the second quarterfinal, and a look ahead at today's two quarterfinal games. I was pooped last night, y'all. More and more these days, I'm teaching 5 days in the week, and this past week was one of those 5 day weeks. And I was pretty pooped last night. So crawled up into bed, didn't get here in front of the computer. But here it is, still morning, and wanted to share with you what we saw yesterday and tell you a little bit about what we're going to see today. And I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I am not going to lament the end of the World Cup. Even though the end is on the horizon, y'all, we just have two games today, two more games, two more games. We have six more games. Hard to believe at how much soccer we've had, how wonderful it's been, how controversial it's been, how safe so far, and I say that with fingers crossed, it has been, and we're not done yet. Speaking of beginnings, let's begin as we always begin by recognizing, realizing, celebrating, and confirming and affirming that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So, yesterday's game, the second of the quarterfinals, and again, it's one side of the bracket. So, at this point, we're looking at two different sides of the bracket. The last 2 days, of course, we saw France win pretty handily, pretty heartily. And yesterday, Spain had to wait a little bit for its win, but it came. It came, which was no surprise. The Belgium team had some injuries. Some of their players are pretty old. They likely had their highest game of the tournament against the US team. We all remember that, of course, but they just didn't have enough gas in the tank. And they were actually kind of unfortunate, unlucky. You know, sometimes that happens. Soccer, believe it or not, is really a game of inches. You know, some other sports that literally measure like feet, like football or basketball with distance to the hoop, certainly games of inches, you know. But in soccer, sometimes the little things can make a huge difference. And one of the little things yesterday was that the two teams were tied, Belgium and Spain, which was quite remarkable that Belgium even scored because Spain had been clean sheets, which is soccer for zeros or nils. They kept shutouts all the way through their first games in the tournament. And no team has ever done that before. It was really remarkable. But Belgium, after Spain went up a goal, Belgium got a goal, which, you know, was something. Spain hadn't faced that yet in this tournament. So now we're tied, and with about 15 minutes or so left in the game, maybe closer to 20, the Belgium keeper, who is a really good keeper in the Premier League, quite frankly, one of the best in the world across the board, got injured, went down, sat on the field, was attended to. Didn't look like a serious injury. I mean, it wasn't really an injury in the run of play. He didn't bang heads or, you know, anything like that. It looked like he aggravated an injury, and he got subbed off of the field and was emotional. Was very emotional. I mean, he's an older gent. Now for keepers, they can have a second chance. Usually keepers can go longer, and he may have one more World Cup in him. There's never a guarantee, right? There's never a guarantee. So it could very well have been the end for him. And then just a few minutes later, his replacement, who is a young goalkeeper, who is a rising star, who's quality, had a shot at him. And instead of grabbing, it was kind of a low shot, a worm burner, if you will, a little term that the Men in Blazers are trying to introduce. And he went down on his side, and instead of fielding it cleanly, like he very much could have, he let it rebound right into the oncoming Spanish players. Two of them actually looked like they kind of fought over who was going to put it away. And one of them did. And that was it. You know, that was it. Belgium kind of pressed a little bit toward the end, couldn't come back. So Spain wins. and goes on for a match that I think is going to be a banger next week. France and Spain in the semifinals, final four, last four, if you will. And that really could be quite a remarkable game. So we'll talk more about that. That is coming up, I believe, on Tuesday. So keep that on your calendar. Today, though, Saturday, we got two games. Y'all, this is the last two games that we're going to have on the same day in this World Cup. Now, do keep in mind, there was a point when we had 6 games, right? Final day of the group stages, there were 6 games that we had to watch back and forth. There were some days when there were 3 games, even 4 games that we could watch back to back to back to back. Now, you may not have watched those back to back to back to back. I did. So seeing that we are almost at the end of this journey is really quite something. And we're not there yet. First game today at 5 o'clock Eastern is probably going to be the best game of the two, Norway and England. Both teams have not won a World Cup lately. For England, 1966, never for Norway. Just the fact that Norway is here, they haven't been here in this round or even in the World Cup for quite a while. And we have these two really attractive, really 3 attractive strikers, Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane on the England side. I just found out Jude Bellingham's only 22, man. That is young. And then we have Erling Haaland, who is just tearing it up, falling in love with America. Social media is loving him. He's the giant Viking. So we'll see how that turns out. You know, both teams are coming off of remarkable wins. Norway knocked Brazil out, right? You might have seen that and pretty handily. It wasn't even really that close. England, on the other hand, held on with dear life in the Azteca, playing Mexico with 10 players. They lost a player to a red card, and they held on to their lead, didn't even take it to extra time, held on to win, which was really, in the truest sense of the word, epic. Maybe one of the best games I've ever watched, one of the best games, of recent memory. So we have these two really great European superpowers, history, and going to be great. It's also going to be hot. They're playing in Miami. Heat index is going to be over 100. And we'll see how these two Northern European teams, Scandinavian team, even further north, we're going to see how they do in the heat. Second game this evening, the nightcap is 9 o'clock. I'll be honest, on paper, it doesn't look like a great, exciting game. We got Argentina and we've got Switzerland. Switzerland's kind of a dark horse. I think they might be punching above their weight. I think they might have gotten a very fortunate draw and pathway to this moment, but they have some quality. Argentina, on the other hand, of course, has the star power. Messi, amazing, but they've also struggled, right? A week ago, yesterday, Friday, they almost got knocked off by Cape Verde. I don't know if you saw that game, but it was so close. Cape Verde almost took them down. And then last week, Egypt was really on the way to taking him down. Egypt had a 2-goal lead, almost had a 3-goal lead, kind of controversial there. But it seemed like at some point, as Argentina knew that they were going to be going home defeated by Egypt, in their mind of, the last likely country that might defeat them, they turned it on. Messi kind of turned it on. It looked like he kind of woke up, and they got 3 goals and took Egypt out even before extra time. So it's quite remarkable. So the question is going to be really is, number one, how tired is Argentina? Because they could be pretty whooped. And also, what kind of game are they going to play? Is it going to be another come from behind, skin at your teeth? If that's the way you're playing, you can only get lucky so long. And when your star, really the main player of your team, is 39 years old, the chance of injury, the chance of exhaustion, the chance of any number of things could be significant. So we're going to have to see, if Switzerland upsets Argentina, that would be huge and historic for that side. But we'll see. So we got these 2 games today. Looking ahead to next week, the winner of England and Norway, of course, will play the winner of Argentina and Switzerland. I'm going to go ahead and double check my times on that just to make sure that I got that right. I don't want to steer you wrong as we're looking ahead to next week, making some plans. So, yes, the two semifinal games, final four games, it will be July 14th. That will be France and Spain. That will be 3 in the afternoon. Again, they're doing European friendly times, right? And then on the other side, it will be, and the 14th is Tuesday. And then the other game will be in Atlanta on Wednesday, also at 3 p.m. So plan your afternoon accordingly, get off work early, slip out, whatever you need to do. But that is next week that we're looking ahead to. So, one final word here, y'all, and it is a sad word. We are getting news today that one of South Africa's young players, his name was Jaden Adams, just 25 years old, he died just a few weeks after playing in the World Cup. And it was, he played in 3 games, 3 of the 5 South African games. And you may remember that South Africa made it out into the round of 32, which was really quite remarkable and amazing for them. Now, the sources that I'm looking at, The Athletic, are not disclosing what the family or the team or they're not disclosing what the cause of death is, except that it was sudden. And, sadly, we know for young people what sudden death oftentimes involves, one or two things, an accident or taking one's own life. So we'll see as that comes out. And here's the thing, y'all. And I think that, none of us I wouldn't be, I can't say none of us, but I wouldn't be talking about Jaden Adams if it wasn't for the World Cup, if it wasn't for South Africa and their story and the attention that they have gotten. And we certainly wish his family well in this time of sadness and loss. His whole nation is mourning, the soccer federation there, and so many more. So we hold his family, close, and let the games continue today, which should be pretty awesome. So, all right, y'all. I do hope to come back at you for tomorrow to recap today's games. I'm planning on parking myself on the couch and seeing how the games unfold. And, I'll be back with you. And then we got a day off, no games on Sunday, no games on Monday, 2 days off, just kind of preparing us for the end. But then we got the bangers on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're not done yet. All right, y'all. Blessing and good. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all.